I hope that the foresight and the wisdom that have made this session a success will guide these leaders and the leaders of all nations as they continue the progress toward peace. Thank you very much.
What a moment. That was then President Carter with the Prime Minister of Israel and the President of Egypt at one of the defining moments of his presidency back in 1978, celebrating the signing of the Camp David Accords, a breakthrough peace deal between Israel and Egypt. Here with us now is Dan Perry, a former chief editor of the Associated Press in Europe, Africa, and the Middle East, and author of Ask Questions Later on Substack. Great title there. I love that. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's office said in a statement, we want to get to this, quote, "We will always remember President Carter's role in forging the first Arab-Israeli peace treaty, a peace treaty that has held for nearly half a century and offers hope for future generations." An important moment there. How major was that breakthrough at the time? How does it feel now? And also your thoughts as we remember the former president.
Well, it was a major breakthrough. At the time, I remember watching it as a kid in Philadelphia, and it was almost unbelievable that Israel and Egypt were making peace, because Egypt was the biggest country that was an enemy of Israel, and the thought that they could ever come together, much less do so in a manner that was so suffused with morality and humanity, declaring no more war, no more bloodshed, was almost fantastical. And Carter didn't begin it. It started without him a year before the accord was signed, but he certainly brought them to the finish line, and that was an achievement that will be remembered, I think, forever. Of course, he had hoped for much more, and I strongly suspect that his heart was breaking over the past year as he witnessed the collapse of efforts to bring a wider peace.
I was just going to say, would it be the same as with Iran and Israel at this point? Would that be a comparison that you would make? Well,
yeah. Iran and Israel right now seem like two countries that could never possibly come together. Where the comparison maybe falls apart is that I actually think the Iranian regime and Israel cannot come together. There is no way this Iranian regime will ever make peace with the Jewish state, whereas the type of regime that Sadat represented was nationalist Arab and not fundamentalist Islamic. And Carter was able to bridge that gap. I do not think the gap between not just Israel, but the modern world and the Islamic Republic of Iran, the theocracy in Iran, which is really an enemy of its own people, as well as the West, can be bridged. So it's a different paradigm, I fear.
Right. You published a piece on your Substack. I wanted to ask you about this, about President Carter giving you your first big interview at the Associated Press back in 1990. And you wrote about how gracious President Carter was with his time until former First Lady Rosalind Carter stepped in. So tell us about that. What will you remember about that exchange? Fill us in.
Look, I was basically applying for a job with the AP in New York, and they had decided they want to send me to Romania. And there I was in Israel, and I was a freelancer, and it was a photo op. And I realized I could get further in life if I turned it into an interview. So I basically went to Carter and asked him if we could have a few words that would enable me to pretend. And he agreed. He said, let's go out into the balcony. He gave me, not a scoop, but a good story. He said he believed that the Israel-Egypt peace treaty can be followed by one with Syria, with the Syrian dictator Hafiz Assad, whose son Bashar recently was in the news. He said he thought it could be done in the context of an international conference where Assad could have the cover of others in the room and so forth. I thought it was very interesting, but, Rosalind Carter, who clearly was a spouse who saw it as her business to keep her husband away from fools, was clearly growing impatient, and at some point she cut us off. And the former president, he tried to continue, but she was waving a notebook at him and saying, Jimmy, we really ought to leave. We're very late for something or other. And in the end, he made his apologies. But I couldn't have been more satisfied. And
right.
It really was. It was my first major interview. I mean, it was a few minutes, but it was an interview. I thought it counted.
Thanks so much for watching. Just go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.